Hello, hello. Welcome into Syntax Bytes, a bi-monthly live stream. Where I'll just be doing a variety of things. So today I've got some fun stuff planned. We're going to get warmed up with some Code Wars code katas. And then I'm going to work on the syntax.fm website. So you can see me go through the issues, pick an issue, figure out how to solve it in the code base. And after that, we'll answer some code questions. I'm also open to answering questions any time in between as well. So let's get into it. Welcome in, everyone. Good to see you, Kidus and Vikas and Scamp and DXDroney. Hello, hello. Welcome in. Welcome in all. And over on the Twitch side, good to see you, Andrew and Moshiko and Irasum and Zero Turner and Murdoch and Lazy. Welcome in. Welcome in. Okay, so like I said, we are going to start off with some Code Wars code katas. I got to get the juices flowing. I got to try to solve some codes and kind of get warmed up. So let's do it. If you haven't heard of Code Wars, it's a place where you can practice coding. It's a lot like LeetCode, but they have easier problems that you can get more ramped up on. It's not 0 to 60 like it is on LeetCode. And the difficulty ranges from 8Q, which is the easiest, all the way up to 1Q, which is the hardest. And I think we'll get started with a 7Q. So let's do it. I have it filtered here by most completed and then katas I haven't trained on. So these are ones I haven't seen before. Let's do it. And if you want to solve along with me, feel free. And I can take a look at your solutions if you do decide to solve along with me. But let's jump in. So this one says, given a string S, your task is to return another string such that even indexed and odd indexed characters are grouped and the groups are space separated. Even indexed groups come as first, followed by a space, and then by odd indexed. So we have an input string. We grab all of the even indices, smack them together, put a space, all of the odd indices, smack them together. Okay, I think I can do this, and I'm going to do it with JavaScript. I guess there's a couple ways to go about it. I could do it like in a single pass, like a single for loop, and then build up two strings. But it could be fun to do with filters. Let's just do it with a filter, because we could do something like this. We could say the even letters are the string itself split into an array, and then we map that array to give each character. And we're also going to get the index. And if that index is even, return true. So return index mod 2 equals 0. So this is going to give us the even letters. And then we can do the exact same thing to get the odd letters. But we say index mod 2 does not equal 0. And then we would just return a string that has all of the even letters joined together with a space, and then all of the odd letters joined together with a space. This should do it. Now, we do have two iterations here. We're iterating over the array twice, but it's not a nested iteration, so it should be fine. Let's see, did I do it? I didn't. Even letters is not defined. Event letters. I added an extra T. Okay, let's go. All right. Oh, because I'm doing a map. I don't want a map. I want a filter. Yeah, with this map, I was returning booleans. I don't want booleans. I want the literal letters themselves. So this actually needs to be a filter. I'm spelling things wrong like crazy today. This needs to be a filter. All right. This is the one. Nice. All right, we'll attempt it. Sue Austin says, how would you split it if there's an emoji in the string? Yeah, so and not just emojis, we're talking about like Unicode characters here. And what you would do is you would use array.from, because array.from is smart enough to group together like Unicode pairings. Yeah, I've dealt with that before in some emote parsing. But what's up, Amir? Good to see you. And Paolo, good to see you as well. It says, looking fresh with a new haircut. I appreciate that. Cool, so that was not too bad. We do have Did anybody give it a try? Anybody want to show another solution before I flip over to the solutions? Let's go ahead and submit it. Cool. We got it. This looks like the thing that most people do. 2 filters, smack them together. But this is what I was talking about with doing it in a single iteration. You just build up 2 strings with a single for loop. Like technically, this requires less iteration because it's a single iteration. Whereas this is, well, I didn't even think about this. Our solution is actually 4 iterations because split is 1 iteration to turn it into an array, and then filter is another iteration, and then we do it again, and we do it again. So yeah, we could definitely speed it up or clean it up. Cool. I deal with the emoji split. What do you mean? So the fact that I've dealt with it before, yeah. Let me see if I can find any articles on it because it is a thing, and it has to do with like special like Unicode characters. So like JavaScript split string emoji Unicode and array.from. I know array.from does it. Yeah, this won't work. Because there are certain emojis that are actually a combination of 2 emojis. Oh, apparently there's an Intel segmenter. I wonder if that is smart enough to handle emojis. This popped up on a recent syntax episode. I think it was on the Stumped episode. This one. Yeah, describe the purpose and functionality of intel.segmenter. So the way it's explained there is it's typically like language-aware splitting and segmenting of strings. But no one here is using array.from. There we go. The proper way to split a UTF string is using array.from. It's so far down in the answers, but that's the way to do it. Cool. All right, let's keep going, and let's answer another one. Yeah, so, and Paolo says, I was just joking that you don't have to do anything and suffer from the emoji being split. Yeah. Amir says, it would be nice to mention the space and time complexity of solutions. Sure, so that's something that you might be asked to do like in an interview. Our solution space-wise is based on in, so it's in, and then we're creating a new array here. So that's in times 1, and then again. So we're creating 2 arrays. It's like space complexity is 2 in, and then time complexity is 4 in, but they all simplified it in. It's in. I guess except for the space complexity. I don't know. Let's keep going. Yeah, and Vicus is asking, what are we working on? We're solving Code Wars Code Katas. Let's pick another one. Let's pick a slightly harder one. We're going to move up from 7Q to 6Q. Now, these vary in difficulty. Sometimes 6Qs might even take me like 10, 20 minutes to solve. We'll see how it goes. So here we go. Filtering by 6Q. Let's take a look at this first one, the vowel code. Create a function called encode to replace all the lowercase vowels in a given string with the numbers according to the following pattern. Now create a function called decode to turn the numbers back into vowels. That's fun. I can do this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to build up a map that says, given a character, this is what the number is. I guess technically we could just put it into an array and then add 1 to the index. I like the idea of a map. So here we can say the letter lookup is a new map. And each of these needs to be a array where you have the string that we're looking up, and then the value is the number itself. We got full screen too. Cool. Okay, so this is the letter lookup. And then we could create the same thing for decoding for the number lookup. We'll just have to switch these around. Like that. Okay. So now, when given a string, we can split it into an array. For each one, we'll look in the map. If it's in the map, we'll replace it with the letter. If it's not in the map, we will return the letter itself. So grab that string, split it. I then want to take this string of characters and map it to a new string of characters. So I'm going to use the built-in map method on arrays, which is different than the map object here. So this is going to give us each character. And then I could do it all in one line, but I'll write it out more readable. So we can say, if the letter lookup has that character, then we are going to return letter lookup get that character. So this is going to return the number. Otherwise, we return the character itself. And then we join it all back together into a string. So that should encode it. And then the decoding process is the reverse of that. So if the number lookup has that character, okay, but here's an issue. The character here is going to be a string, and in our map, these are numbers. So I actually do want these keys to be strings. So that way the lookup inside my map will work. I mean, technically I could convert the character to a number, but then I'd have to worry about nan. So I'm just going to do this. So that way we can look up the character in here and then grab it. All right. First try. Nice. Oh, I forgot to link the kata. Okay. That almost seemed easier than the previous one. Here we go. If you would like to give it a try, there's the link. And thank you, Cmatic. Thank you for that follow over on Twitch. I'm going to solve a couple more, and if you want to give this one a go while I'm doing the others, I'll be happy to look at your solution if you share it in the chat. Cool. What's up, Alex? Welcome in. And Dyrene says, how would you approach to streaming voice between two or more pair like a chat with WebSockets, but voice is also in the room, for example? You would use something like Webrtc. Well, I mean, there's a lot of ways to do it. Webrtc allows you to do peer-to-peer video and voice chat. And really, the only server infrastructure you need is for connecting two peers together. And then beyond that, if any of your peers are like behind firewalls or anything like that, you actually need what's called a turn server. So it actually relays the traffic so that two peers can communicate with each other. But with Webrtc, you can create a peer connection, and then you use the, is it the Web Media API? Basically, the API that allows you to capture a user's webcam. You use this in combination with Webrtc. Yeah. So this is how I would approach it. There are a lot of like software as a service that will basically give you like the turn server that you would need and all the extra stuff, and also the signaling server, which is the server that allows your peers to connect to each other. Look up like Webrtc hosts. There's some stuff out there. I forget the specific services that provide it, but there are some services where you don't have to write all of like the backend codes and everything. You can just use them, and they have like a monthly fee and like a free tier as well. But that's how I would approach it. Cool. Dagukan is asking, do I have a course? Yeah, I have a React course. It's called React Roots. If you go to reactroots.com, I made it a little over a year ago. It's still relevant though. It's all about the basics of React itself. This doesn't get into Next.js or server-side rendering or anything like that. This course is all about the basics of React. But I do have that. And I am working on a course for Next.js, but that's going to be published for free on the syntax channel. All right, let's do another one. But hello, Mihai. Welcome in. Welcome in. And good to see you too, Stony. See you on the Twitch side. Pal is asking, do I have any solutions that deep clone JavaScript objects and classes without whipping out the prototype? Structured clone destroys the prototype of the main object and all the properties. I don't have an answer for that. Yeah, I mean, you could potentially use structured clone and then set the prototype after using structured clone. And then beyond that, reaching for like a third-party solution. Like, I don't know what's built into Lodash for cloning. I think Lodash has a deep clone, so it might actually handle these kinds of things. Recursively clones the value. You tried with Lodash? Yeah, I don't have a good answer for you then. Whatever it is, it's going to be manual. It's like, do as much as you can with structured clone or some other library, and then afterwards you might have to actually like hook it up. Because yeah, I haven't done anything like that before. What's up, Paul? Good to see you. We need a mustache styling course. I just use a little bit of hair glue, and that keeps my mustache up all day. You attend. You tried resetting the prototype? Yeah, I don't have a good answer. I mean, if you have a code sample, maybe I could try to run it and play around with it. And Mihai is saying, what do you think of Hono? Trying it recently with a spot. It feels so much better than those SSR frameworks that are popular now. It's cool. I haven't had a chance to build a big project with it, but I've done some basic stuff with it, and I like it. I want to do a more in-depth video on Hono. Basically, you can think of it like an alternative to Express, but it uses web standards and can be deployed a lot of different places. Like Cloudflare, Vercel, Netlify, Azure, like all, you can write your code in this way, and then they have adapters to be able to deploy all these other places. But there's a lot of other cool stuff built in. Like the way they do routing, and then they also have built-in support for JSX. So this isn't like React server components. This is literally just views that are immediately rendered using JSX. So there's no like interactive client components or anything like that. Just using Hono itself. They do have a meta framework that allows for JavaScript islands, but by default, this is basically like using JSX as your template language for HTML. Yeah, and apparently they do have client components. Fascinating. Yep. And then the RPC thing is also super cool because it's kind of like tRPC, but just built into Hono itself, where you can specify an endpoint, use Zod validators, and everything is like fully typed here. So yeah, Hono is cool. I want to do like a more in-depth video on Hono. And Codecrafter says, "You are the coolest dude. Thank you, Codecrafters." We want more CJ videos. I'm working on it, Amir. I definitely have more videos coming down the pipe. All right, let's do another kata. But Phelon says, I missed our Friday series. Yeah, so that's a series I used to do on Coding Garden, where we tried a brand new thing every Friday. I want to bring it back. I'm trying to find the time. I'm going to be doing a lot of traveling pretty soon, but eventually it'll happen. It'll definitely happen. All right, let's do another kata. I think we'll do another 6Q. Let's see if this one seems too difficult. Okay, assume that the hash is like a backspace in a string. This means that the string A hash B C hash D actually is BD. The task is to process a string with hash symbols. I kind of like this. This one seems tricky. I don't think I can do this like in one go. But I like it. So basically, it's like you received some key input, and you have to determine what the resulting output is if there is a backspace. Fascinating. I'm going to do it. This will be the last one because this seems like it's going to be somewhat involved. But Stony says, I want more coding garden streams too. I'm sorry, everybody. Eventually it's going to happen. All right. Oh yeah, and I'll link this one too if you want to try it. I'm thinking right now how I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to just do it with a plain old for loop, and we'll basically have the resulting string that we gradually like remove and add characters to. Yeah. All right, but we're going to start this one in like 1 minute. I will be right back. All right, let's get into it. If you're just joining us, we are about to do a code kata. This one's called Backspaces in a string. So you're given a string, it has some hashes in it, and essentially the hashes mean that that string had a backspace to it. So let's grab our example inputs, and then I'm gonna like pseudocode this first. Kind of like think through it. So my thought is we have like the output. So a place to store the result. And then we iterate over the input. And for each element, if element is not the hash, we will append to result. And then else, if it was a hash, we will remove the last value from result. Simple as. That's it. And then return the result. Okay, this isn't that hard. Let's code it up. So a place to store the result, I'm thinking we use an array because then we can use pop to remove the last value in the array. So let's say the result is an array. Then we iterate over the input. Let's just do a for each. And then inside of there, if the element is not hash. So if the character does not equal hash, we're just going to push it into the result. So result.push that character. But if it was a hash, we need to remove the last character from the result. So we'll just say result.pop. And then we should be able to do result.join to bring it back into a string. That was too easy. I don't know why I thought that would be hard. Okay, let's see what we get. Okay, s.forEach is, yeah, that makes sense. So we were given a string. I need to turn it into an array if I want to use a for each. So yeah, let's split it, then call for each on it. Too easy. All right, we're gonna have to do one more. That one was way too easy for me. And Stony is saying this is called the rubber duck effect. I guess that's the thing. It's like until you start talking about it out loud, maybe you think it's harder than it's going to be. Paolo, if you want to share a link, Twitch is probably the best way because I think YouTube just removes all links. Okay, let's increase difficulty. Let's go to a 5Q. I could regret this because 5Qs get even harder. But let's see which one we are given first. Perimeter of a squares in a, I don't want to do that. Instantly, I don't want to do that. Gap in primes. The prime numbers are not regularly spaced. For example, 2 to 3 is a gap of 1, but 3 to 5 is a gap of 2, 7 to 11 is a gap of 4. Between 2 and 50, we have the following pairs of 2 gap primes. A prime gap of length n is around... This sounds like a leak code problem. I don't want to do this. These are all like math focused. Complete the function that accepts 2 integer arrays of equal length. Compare the values of each member in one array to the corresponding member in the other. Square the absolute value difference of both between those 2 values. Return the average of those squared absolute differences between each member pair. Okay, I don't think it's as bad as it seems, because to me, I'm thinking like we could do it with like a reduce or something like that. So compare the value of each to the course. Square the absolute value difference between those 2 values. So 4 minus 3 squared. So 4 minus 1 is 3, squared is 9. 5 minus 2 is 3 squared is 9. 6 minus 3 is 3 squared is 9. So then we have an array of 9, 9, 9. And then return the average of those squared absolute values between each member pair. So the average of that is 9. And then what? Oh, this is just a different output. So we have 0 squared plus 5 squared plus 5 squared plus 2 minus negative 2 is 2 plus 2 is 4. 4, 2 is squared. Okay, it's easy. I can do this with a reduce. Let's do this with a reduce in one shot. Here we go. And if you want to try along at home, here it is. And I'll take a look at Pablo's cloning problem after we solve this one. All right. Yeah, I think I can do this in a single shot with the reduce on the first try. Place your bets now. Okay, so here, well, can I do it with the reduce? Yeah, I guess I can, because I can reduce the first array while accessing the second array with its index. Okay, so we're going to return first array dot reduce. We are reducing this to a single value like that. And this is going to give us the A value and the index. And then B is going to be the second array at that index. Well, bracket notation. So second array at that index. And then we want to do B minus A. No, A minus B. Yeah, A minus B. So we say the result is A minus B, and we square that whole thing. So I'm going to use math.pow. So take that, raise it to the second power. All right. So that's the resulting value. And we're summing them all together. So our sum starts at 0, and the sum is going to be our accumulator here. So we actually could just return sum plus the square. And then we take that whole result and divide it by the length. Yeah? I think that's it. All right. Place your bets now. Who thinks I'm going to do it on the first try? Stony says test fail. Doesn't matter. Yeah, you're right. It doesn't matter if it's A minus B or B minus A because it's squared to begin with. Or no, it's absolute value? Square the absolute value difference. Okay, good catch. I'm glad I looked at the chat. Okay, so maybe this wasn't going to be first try. It needs to be math.absolute value. So take the absolute value of the difference, square that. Okay. Who thinks it's going to work first try? I'm like 90% sure. I might have messed up something simple. Oh, okay, it worked. Nice. Did I get the job? No cheating? Yeah, I mean, I kind of cheated. All right, let's take a look at what Paolo was asking about. So Paolo had a question specifically about cloning a class and maintaining the prototype or something like that. Do you know of any solutions that deep clone JavaScript objects in classes without wiping out the prototype? And then we can see what they're trying to do right here. So we have a class and another class, and we want to create a structured clone of the instance I mean, I think I would just implement this as like an instance, like, or maybe like a static method on the class, because ultimately, we're just trying to create another instance, right? Yeah, and so Paolo is saying, what if you don't have access to the class? That's the tricky part, because that's what I was thinking. Like, the whole point of classes is to create copies. So literally create a new instance, and then from there have like a method to copy over all of the instance properties. But how can we grab the constructor? I mean, what if we did something like this? What if we said, the class, or let's call it the creator, is test.constructor. And then if we did new creator, where we pass in test, and I guess you're not using test2, are you? And we can pass in the instance. So if instance is defined, oh, I see. You're creating an instance of test2 there. Okay, so the constructor takes in an instance, and well, no, I'm telling you, right, this is how we get access to the class. We grab the constructor from the instance. And so if the instance is defined, then for every you can't modify the constructor to take an instance in. Oh, that's fine too. Well, don't do that. Then I would just create a static clone method outside of it. So cloned, and then we'll say like copy properties. So from the test, so copy into cloned from the test one. And then copy properties is just a function that grabs all the iterable properties and then transfers them over. So copy properties, cloned, copy from. And then we'll do a object.keys, do object.entries of copy from. And For each one. There's probably a quicker way to do this, but we get the key and the value. And then from there, if this is an iterable property, then we set it on the clone. So cloned at that key equals value. Is hasOwn an instance property of object? Yeah, object.hasOwn copy from key. How about now? Clone.method is not a function. I don't want to set the prototype. I think I did it. Yeah. We did it, Paolo. I think, I mean, you tell me if this is going to work, but basically, yeah, you don't have access to the class, but you do have access, you can access constructor on the thing. And then by invoking the constructor here, now it's actually an instance, and then you just pull over all of the properties from the original. I don't know, you tell me, maybe this will work. We have a suggestion. Object.create, get prototype. This could work too. This isn't a deep clone because I'm only copying the top level instance properties here. So this function right here would just copy over nested and property. I guess technically it'll copy the methods too. Which ultimately means we probably don't even need the constructor. We can just literally, I don't know. I don't know if this is the answer. I'll share this and then maybe you can play around with it, but maybe that gets you a little bit closer. You might just use a different clone function. Like maybe here is where you use structured clone. I guess structured clone is the whole thing that's actually removing the prototype. I don't know. But also take a look at what Stony posted there too, because this gets the prototype of the thing you're trying to clone. It then uses object.create with that prototype. And then we're taking all the properties of this and then applying them to that created instance. So this could also work. Cool. And Charlie says, nice haircut. Thank you, Charlie. Why not use run.js to do these exercises? I haven't heard of run.js. A JavaScript playground. Oh. I just like doing it in the browser. That's the main reason. What are the situations where this would be a benefit to use? If we're talking about what Paolo was sharing, it probably has to do with like library code. Like he's writing some library that other people use and he needs to be able to clone things that are being passed into a function. That's my guess. All right. I think I have time for one more kata. Do we get even harder? Let's look at another 5Q. And maybe we try a 4Q. I don't know. Oh, this is the one that we just did, the mean square error. Convert a hex string to RGB. When working with color values, it can sometimes be useful to extract the individual red, green, and blue component. So this accepts a case insensitive hexadecimal color returns a map string to int with the structure RGB, where RG and B are arranged from 0 to 255. Your implementation does not need to support the shorthand form of hexadecimal. Okay. How would we do this? We would take in the hex, split it into pairs, and then we need to convert hexadecimal string into a byte with a value from 0 to 255. Let's try it. Let's try it. Here we go. If you'd like to follow along at home, here it is. And Paolo is saying, people pass in the default value that could be complex, so to avoid mutating the original, you clone it, but if it's a class, then you lose the prototype. Yeah. Hex to decimal, is that a built-in function? Because that's basically what we need is, I think we can use the toString method with a something like that. Okay. Here we have A1, B1. Oh, here we ignore the hash. We have that pair, and that'll be hex string. So we are destructuring this hexadecimal string to grab each individual character, and then the R value is going to be A1 and A2 concatenated together into a string, and then we can say hex to decimal with that. We'll have to implement hex to decimal. So this gives us R, G, and then B. So G is going to be B1, B2, or B is going to be that, and then this. So R, G, B, and then we return an object with R, G, and B. Okay. Now, how do we do hex to decimal? I might have to Google it. I think if we say, I think there's a parse int that takes in a thing and then it accepts the base of the precision, something like this. So let's actually try this out. If I do parse int of f, and I say this is in base 16, look at me. I didn't have to look anything up. So this is all we need. This is literally all. We don't even need to write a function beyond this. We just take that in, say it's base 16, and then it gives us back the integer. Great. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Wow. Okay, I need to be challenged. I need to be challenged right now. So against my better judgment, we're gonna pull up a for queue and see if I can solve it. It's almost like you've done this before. I mean, I am a programmer. I have used parseInt before. All right, human readable duration format. I've implemented this. Oh, maybe not. Okay. One queue or another. The thing is, so in the past, we have tried one queues and they have taken me multiple days to solve, because at that point you're implementing like language features and libraries. Like we basically implemented a JavaScript only version of like connects. It's like it allowed you to like query on arrays, and we had to implement all the queryable functions. But yeah, okay. Write a function which formats a duration as a number of seconds in a human readable way. So it takes in seconds. So it accepts a non-negative integer. If it's 0, it just returns now. Otherwise, the duration is expressed as a combination of years, days, hours, minutes, and seconds. I think we can do this. Let's just go for it. Right. Here's the link if you want to try it. After this, we're going to work on the syntax website. So there's a couple of issues open that I'm going to give a try, but right now, here we go. Okay, so we get the seconds. We need hours, minutes, seconds, days, and years. Yeah, we're going to be working on a Spellcat app, and we're going to pick some of these issues that are at the top here. Okay, so given an amount of seconds, we want the number of years to be those seconds divided by, well, let's start small. The, we'll call this total seconds. And then the remaining value of the total seconds is total seconds mod 60. So for instance, if we pass in 61 seconds, when we mod that by 60, the seconds component is 1. And if we have 120 seconds, there's no remaining seconds, but 121, yeah, that seems right. So, well, did I do by 6? Let's try that again. So, yeah, okay. So, mod 60 gives us the total number of seconds, or the remainder seconds. The minutes is total seconds minus the seconds that we chopped off the end, and then the remainder of 60 times 60. Because there are 60 seconds in a minute. And so this will give us the total minutes. And then the hours is going to be total seconds minus seconds minus minutes times. I think we need some variables here. So if I need something like seconds in a minute is 60. Wait, basically I want to hold on to this value here. One minute in seconds. Oh, it's just 60. What am I doing here then? Because if we take the total seconds, subtract the seconds, we have the overall minutes, and then modding by 3600. Does that give us the minute? Let's try it out. So if I have 120 seconds and I mod that, I want to convert 120 seconds to 2 minutes. It's not 60 times 60, is it? It's just divided by 60. That's what it is. And then drop the remainder. Divided by 60. Okay. And then drop the remainder. Okay. That gives us the total number of minutes. Now, we take, yeah, then I don't need this variable here. Now, for the hours, we take the total seconds, subtract the number of seconds, subtract the number of minutes times 60, because we're converting it back to seconds. And then we divide that by 3600. Yeah, so so 120 seconds is 2 minutes. 3,600 seconds is 60 minutes. But if it's, okay, this is a lot harder than I thought, because if it's 60 minutes, then we actually only want it to be 59. Okay, we're gonna be here a while. um, I got this. Thank you, Stony. Thank you for the vote of confidence. Yeah, I have to think about how to handle this. So I guess, do I do mod? I don't think I do mod 59. Maybe I do. Total seconds. Yeah. Maybe I just have to handle it here. Thing is, if we have 60 seconds and we mod that by 60, that gives us 0 seconds. Is that what I was doing here? Do I just want to divide by 60 in this case? I think I do. All my maths are wrong. Because I just want to divide by 60. No, I want the remainder seconds. That's why I'm doing mod. Okay. And then we'll do something like if minutes is 60, then we don't want to use it in the minutes calculation. So we'll just set it to 0, so that way it's used to calculate the number of hours. And then if we have 3,600 seconds, and we divide by 60 times 60. I guess we do mod in this scenario. Is 1 hour. Cool. Yeah. So this gives us the total number of hours, and then we'll also math.floor this to get rid of the decimal. All right, let's see what we have so far. We're going to return just a combined string. So we'll say seconds. Hey, what's up, Chad? Welcome in. Minutes. We'll need to reverse this. Here's hours, minutes, seconds. Now, just gonna do some. Yeah, this is doing hour, minute, seconds. Let's just see how this looks. I need to add the and. Here. And then we'll also have some conditional logic that doesn't include it if it's 0. Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll add that now. So, we'll have our parts, and this is going to be an array of strings. And then for each of those, we only want to include it if it's greater than 0. So, I mean, what if we did something like this? Create an object with hours, minutes, and seconds. And then we want to grab each one, hours, minutes, seconds, in that specific order. And we're going to filter to only have the ones that are not 0. So we get the name. We want to return parts at that name. And then so this is going to give us just hours, minutes, or seconds, whatever is remaining. And then from there, we'll map it to be this. It'll be name parts at that name. Okay. For now, I'm just going to join this all together with a comma, but we do have to change it up so that the last value there is an and. So it'll say like and seconds. Let's see what this gives us so far. Then we need to pluralize. So, yeah, there's a lot involved here. So, for the name, we're gonna not do this in one line so that it's a little bit easier to read. And so if, also gonna put this in value, like this. So if the value is greater than 1, then it'll just be the name itself. Otherwise, it'll be name and then remove the S. That's how substring works, and then we'll put the label there. I forget how substring works, or where you can use negative indices. So if we say hours substring -1, that doesn't work. What about substr? What if we do 0 -1? What if we do, isn't there another one? I'll have to look it up on MDN. At -1 will give me the last value. I want to remove the last value. Substr is deprecated? Sub is deprecated. Substring is the only non-deprecated one. Yeah, I think you just have to do length -1. So if I do substring from 0 to the length -1, that removes it. That's what we need. Oh, slice is the other way to go. Does slice work on strings? No, that only leaves the last one. But I think this one lets us do, yeah, that's an easier syntax than trying to substring with the length. That's the way to go. Okay. Here. One second, 2 seconds. 1 minute, 2 minutes. So I think our logic is right here. All right. Okay. Good. So now it passes this test case, but then if we want to do 1 minute and 2 seconds, we need to handle that. So the last value, we need to add and onto there. Okay. Let's call this the results. And if results.length is, if there's only one thing in there, just return it. If there's any more than that, we are going to grab the last one, which is just going to be results.up. And then we're going to return the remaining ones joined together on a comma, and then concat and the last one. Like that. Okay, so 1 minute and 2. I get the label wrong here? So 2 seconds, we are returning value space label. Pop returns the thing on the end. Oh, pop returns. What I don't know. What does pop do? Or how does pop work? Oh, it doesn't output it. I see. It doesn't output it in an array. It outputs the actual value itself. So I literally just do this. That's why. I was destructuring it to grab the first value in the array. Okay. Now we have an issue. We got up to here. So 1 hour was just fine. But then when we're testing this 1 hour, 1 minute, and 2 seconds, we output 61 minutes and 2 seconds. So we need to handle that. So we're doing divide by 60. Maybe this isn't what we want. Actually, we'll do this. If minutes is greater than or equal to 60, minutes let's work with that test value that they give us there. So this needs to result in 1 minute. So mod 60 gives us 2 seconds, which is right. And so if we subtract 2, we are now here. If we mod we divide by 60, that gives us the total number of minutes. And then if the minutes, I mean, I guess if we had like a really big value divided by 60, yeah. We want to mod 60 this. So divide by 60 and then mod 60 gives us the number of remaining minutes. Yeah, and then math.floor this whole thing. Okay. Divide by 60. Mod 60. And if it, I guess I don't know if it'll ever be 60 because it'll be 0. It'll 0 through, we don't need to handle this anymore. Okay. Where are we at? Wow. Now, we've handled the basic cases. So like hours, minutes, and seconds. I think they want us to handle, yeah, years, days as well. All right. Should be easy, just more maths. Because now the days it's going to be the running total so total seconds minus the total minutes minus the total hours. I'll use 3600. I know that's a value here. Okay. So this gives us the remaining seconds. I'm going to put it in a variable. And then after this, remaining seconds is this. And then after this, the remaining seconds, well, let's just test it with our existing values here. Okay, so that still works. But we're cleaning up the codes a bit. Now it will be this. Oh. And then at this point, I just need to do remaining seconds. I don't have to do all that extra maths. Like that. And some value. Let's double check this. Okay, so. Now, we take our remaining seconds to grab the days. We're going to divide by 60 seconds in a minute, 60 seconds in an hour, 24 hours in a day. And this gives us our days component. Let's see if we get this right. I think, so if we have this right, where it will start to break down is if it's more than 365 days, because after 365 days, we now need to say years, but this should get us pretty far. I guess I could write my own test case. I'm just going to do an attempt. Incorrect answer for seconds equals 0. Expected. Now, okay, so I need to handle this. So if the total seconds is 0, we just return now. Okay, handle that. All right. Right now we have 4,300. We have a bunch of hours. And we're not including days. Why not? Okay, so we don't have days at all. Take the remaining seconds. What's up, Namaste Geek? I see you in the Twitch chat. Welcome in. We'll use this as our test case here. So our test case for this many seconds should be this. Okay, so I think we need to handle if hours is greater than 24, then it becomes a day. So yeah, we divide this whole thing by 24. We mod it by 24. Yeah. Okay, that's what we're missing. We need, again, we miss modulus multiple times now. Let's see. All right. So that gives us, honestly, I think we found a pattern, right? So that gives us hours, and then days we would just mod by 365 to get the number of years. So at this point, remaining seconds. Is going to be days times 24 times 3,600. And then our years, it's going to be remaining seconds times 365 mod 365. Let me add it here. All right. I could be wrong somewhere in there, but let's give it a go. Now do it and reduce. All right, let's see what we got wrong. So 1528 days. Yeah, we're missing the years component again. Oh, I thought we added mod 365. Mod 365 needs to be added to days. That is why. No way. I can't believe we got through that. That was a challenge for me. That was a big challenge. Okay. Now do it with a reduce. I don't know if this is qualified. I mean, I could convert all of this into a reduce. I'm going to call it there because I want to work on other things. But let's do our final submission. Hey, very nice. Very nice. Yeah. In their solution here, they had like a lookup for like number of seconds in each of these given things. Fascinating. All right. I'm going to take a quick 2-minute break, but when I come back, we're going to work on the syntax website. So this is our site that lists all of the podcast episodes. It also has our newsletter, our videos, and it's open source. If you check it out on GitHub, we have all the codes here. It's a SvelteKit app. And there's a couple of issues that I think I can solve on stream. And when we come back, I'll pick one. Actually, I'll pick a couple, and then we can vote on which one specifically that I work on. Yeah, and thank you for the follows. Heck and Namaste Geek. Appreciate it. Yeah. And what's up, Complexity? Good to see you as well. Oh, and you got your Coding Garden shirt? Nice, 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 nice. All right. Like I said, I'll be back in 2 minutes to work on the syntax site. See you soon. See you very soon. All right, I'm back. Let's get into it. So now I'm going to work on the syntax website. So this site has all of our podcast episodes, videos from YouTube's, our newsletter, and it's on GitHub, and we have a bunch of issues here. So I'm just going to go through these issues, pick a couple that I think are interesting, and then try to work on them. So some of these are really old. I don't know if I have the context to work on some of these. But we'll see. Expand social links. So some of this could be easy enough. So we need to include personal websites, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Mastodon, and others. So right now, we have all of these links. And then there is a /links page that has these two. I don't really have enough context for this, so I'm not going to do it because I'm not quite sure what Wes had in mind. Implement structured data for each podcast. Maybe not. Add more meta to the show results. Show number, show type, guest avatar if available, maybe even the AI tags. The show number and or date will give a bit more context, which is the newest, maybe not the show type. Yeah, I mean, this is something I could potentially work on. It would require some review and feedback, but basically on the site, we have search built in, so you can search for episodes like React, and it'll pop up here. So what Wes is saying is we should show more info. I mean, this is a year old. At this point, we are showing the show number. We don't have the type. This has kind of already been implemented because we do have the show number in the results here. Okay, I'm not going to worry about this one either. And thank you, Ryan Welcher. Thank you for that follow over on Twitch. Moshiko says, what tech will you be using for the website? It's built with SvelteKit. So I'll show you how, once we pick an issue, I'll show you how I get it up and running locally. But it's a SvelteKit app. It's got a Postgres database and Redis cache. Yeah. Amir has a great point. So when we're talking about open source, reply in the same issue and follow up on whether it's still relevant. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's just say show number is now included in results. SvelteKit mentioned, yeah. Both Paolo and Scott are Svelte ambassadors, so that is a thing. I'm going to link to the codes to where the show number is included. So this will be an exercise in source code diving because I actually have no idea where it will be, but I can make some guesses. It's going to be in the source directory. I'm guessing we potentially have some kind of function in lib. Let's see. Yeah, so we have search inside of here. And then we've got the search result list. And when it renders out, we are showing the show number somewhere. Yeah, right here. So I want to link to this little bit of code to say that yeah. There we go. So now they can chime in on that. All right. Play episode button active state not synced with the player active state. Let's take a look. So when I pause and close the player, or close the player, the button's still displaying as if the episode is being played. Scott says, this is now partially fixed. However, it doesn't stop when paused, just when stopped. So I'll have to tweak. This might not be relevant anymore because Scott kind of revamped the player, but let's see if we can replicate the issue. So let's play an episode.
Welcome to Syntax. Today we
pause. The pause button changes there. Okay, so that's at least fixed, it seems. So when we pause,
the state of
synced.
React 2023. This is
okay. Cannot replicate. No, and the thing is, Scott did a bunch of work on the player, so he probably fixed all this stuff. It's just
welcome to syntax. Today we have the
but
state.
If I close this, that updates. Okay, so closing works. Close the player or pause and close the player. We did both of those. So if we're playing,
welcome to syntax
and then
today.
Close, it's linked. Yeah. This looks to be fixed by the recent player work. That Scott did. Mr. Bot MD. Okay, great. Here's the thing. We're still contributing to open source by going through these stale issues. That's work that needs to be done. So even if we're not writing any code, we're technically contributing right now, which is a good thing. All right, add episode duration to the DB. This one could be fun. Okay. Episode duration isn't something we've saved. It would be calculated at import. Grab the metadata of the MP3. We could also run on import or sync. Yeah, I think so. I like this one. It's going to be pretty involved, but I think basically what we would have to do is I would first write a script to get the duration of every existing episode and then put that into the database. So basically like add a new column to the show table that has duration and calculate it locally. But then we need some kind of hook so that when a new episode is published, it can run in the background, grab the duration, and update the database. We're going to add this to our maybes. Add episode duration to DB. But this could be fun because we'll actually find a library for like looking at the metadata of an MP3 file and then doing that with Node.js in some way. So that could be fun. Okay, this is an accessibility issue. Considering the point of the episode page is to listen to the podcast or find information about the episode, it would be nice to have a skip links component that has a skip to main content or skip to media player or similar. It's currently not too many tab presses to get to a play button, but it doesn't allow you to then stop the audio. If you get out a link to jump to the player, it would mean not having to tab 100 times for screen reader users. Let's see how this works. So if I press tab, we're there. There.
Welcome to syntax. Welcome to syntax. Welcome to syntax. Today we have the state of React 2020.
If I press this
Welcome
button,
to syntax. Today we have the state of React 2023. This is a survey from the folks behind State of Everything, probably State of JS you're familiar with. But they also do a whole bunch of surveys in different areas, HTML, GraphQL. Today we got the results of the state of React, which I thought was super interesting.
That's a lot of tabs to get to the pause button. I don't know if that's what they're asking. Yeah, so it's not too many tab presses to get to the play button. That's what we recognize. You could tab a few times, hit enter, the episode starts playing. But it doesn't allow you to then stop the audio. Yeah, so right now what happens if I press this button, maybe that's one of the fixes we can make is if I press this button.
Welcome to syntax. Welcome to syntax.
And then if the episode is already playing, this button should actually pause. I think that's probably a better, at least one thing that we can do. And then if you could add a link to jump to the player. Yeah, I think at a minimum, we can make it so that pressing this button pauses if it's already playing. Let's at least add that to our list here. Pressing play button when already playing should pause. Okay. Add markdown lint to the project. This is already a thing. Yeah, Scott has been working on that a bunch, so I'm not going to worry about that. This one specifically, add validation checks to markdown and PRs. Yeah, Scott's been working on this. I'm not going to touch it. Safari hero pattern grit is too gritty. I don't want to look at that. Anchors for dropdowns isn't pinned. I bet I wrote a better anchor action for a side project this weekend. We'll port to syntax. Okay, that's a Scott thing. Add some padding in the videos section. So I was browsing through the videos and I noticed it could use a bit of tweak. It's kind of tough to read the titles and tell the videos apart. I could agree with that. I mean, we could add like an outline or something. That's not too crazy though. When browsing your show notes, I noticed the bullet marker is peeking to the left. It's peeking from behind the timestamp. Is this still a thing? I don't see this at all. Can we change? How do I change the light mode? I guess we don't really have a theme toggle. Weird. Cannot reproduce. Okay, this is one I wanted to look at. So quickly navigating to a show by number. So this is currently a thing. If you go to syntax.fm and then put in a show number, it goes there. But if you go to show/show number, it says not. It just redirects here. I think it would be possible to update the redirect so that if it's show/just a number, redirect to the page without the slug. The search should index the show number and show a bang on match when inputting a number. Make the slug optional. Yeah, okay. Make slug optional for /show/number slug. Accessibility label. Okay. Can't edit AI generated notes. This is another thing I wanted to look at. So this is an admin thing. So behind the scenes for every episode on Syntax, we actually use AI to generate the summary here. And so this is the summary that appears even on this page here, but that's generated by AI. And right now, if AI makes a mistake, the only way to update it is in the database. So we could have some kind of backend admin page that allows you to actually inline edit the AI information. So like all of this, like this right here, this needs to be editable from an admin point of view. Transcript timestamp progress not updating until we pause. Oh, okay. So this has to do with the transcript. So if you look at the transcript, It actually updates as the episode plays.
Tax today we have a rendering one
about right now.
Oh, it's supposed
worry
to.
about a whole bunch of
If I
classes.
pause, you can see that it now the little yellow thing updates to be at the correct section, but it's basically not happening while the episode is playing. That's something else we could look at. Transcript indicator not updating while playing episode. Okay, we got a lot of issues. I'll recount what they are, and then we'll just pick one and start working on it. So, yeah, the repo is available. So if you go to github.com/syntaxfm/website, you can take a look. And what's up, Nico? Good to see you. And Amir has a question. Just out of curiosity, would you risk and choose SvelteKit at work if you were building a mission-critical software and your professional reputation was on the line? Yeah, definitely. Like SvelteKit is production ready. Absolutely, people are building stuff with SvelteKit, and personally, I can build things faster with SvelteKit than I can with React or Next.js. You could call it a skill issue, but SvelteKit typically requires less code. Things are structured in a more predictable way in my experience. So yeah, SvelteKit is definitely production ready. You might run into some issues if you're trying to find certain libraries to do a specific type of thing, but yeah, SvelteKit is definitely production ready. The last one seems fun to work on. Yeah, any thoughts in the chat? Or I might pick the oldest one because that might, or I might make a decision about what's the one that'll make the most impact. And Paolo says SvelteKit is the GOAT. So the first one is add the episode duration to. So I'm going to read these out and then let me know in the chat if you have suggestions on what I should actually work on. So add episode duration to the DB. This would involve using some library to look at the MP3 files, to get their overall duration, and then insert that into the database. I would probably write one script that generates the data for all the existing episodes, and then another script that gets the duration each time a new episode is published. So that's what would be involved with that. This one, actually, I might even just do this one because it's super simple, but it's basically right now when the play button that's on the page, if you press it while the episode is already playing, it restarts the episode instead of pausing the episode. So that's that one. The next one is right now, if you go to show/number, it just redirects to the list of shows, but we could actually detect this and then do the same type of redirection as if when someone goes to syntax.fm/number. So basically make the slug optional when visiting an episode. I think we would still redirect to the slug, but it would make it so that you could go to this page. Allow editing of AI-generated content. This would involve probably some form actions where on the admin side, when you're on a show edit page, you have the ability to change those generated stuffs inside the database. So we'd probably like create a little edit form, see the existing AI generated contents, and then on submit, update the database. And then this one is when you're on the episode page, we have a transcript with a little yellow bar on the left-hand side that's not staying in sync with the playing episode. So essentially, we would probably just need to tap in with the on progress event of the audio player. And when there is some kind of progress, update where the transcript indicator is. So those are all of them. I'll probably just work on this first one because it's literally going to be when you click the button, if playing, pause instead. That's it. Paolo was saying, joking aside, Svelte is the best, but SvelteKit is on another level, the best meta framework out there. I want to use Nuxt a little bit. It seems like Nuxt is a pretty good contender for best meta framework. All right. Any other thoughts, comments, questions? Oh, you're totally right. Over on Twitch, you said they're using Postgres. The summary is MySQL. You're right. It's MySQL. It's not Postgres. But let me show you how I get things running locally. So in here, I have a Docker container, and if I do Docker compose up, that will create the MySQL database and the Redis database, and then just start it locally on my machine, and then I should be able to spin up the website. Cool. So if I do pnpm dev, it makes sure the database exists and it's seeded and everything else, and then it starts up the app. So that's a start script that Scott wrote. And then the website loads. So now the website is running locally on my machine. Let me make sure I'm on the main branch. I don't have any. I do have a code change. What is the code change? Oh, it added the package manager. I don't want that. Okay, but let's open this up with VS Code. And then we need to find the player. So the first one that I'm going to work on is about the player not pausing. This one. So when we are listening to an episode,
I sure hope you're hungry.
That's an older one.
I sure hope you're hungry.
When I click this button, it just restarts the episode. I want this button to pause the episode. So let's handle that. Now, if I had to guess, it's going to be on the show page. So in SvelteKit, we have route grouping. So these parentheses just make it so that you can like group a bunch of routes together, but they don't actually appear in the URL. But it should be under site. And then for an individual show, and then an individual show number. So this is the page that gets loaded for an individual show. And I'm guessing there's going to be a play button on here somewhere. So we have the show notes. Those get, it could be a parent component. It might be actually be the layout then. Yeah, so there's a play show button here. So if we look at the layout of the page, we've got the host and the guests. They're here, so I'm guessing next in the template is going to be the actual play button. So yeah, when this is playing, we call play show. Are there any other references to play show? They're not. So what I want to do is if player.status. How do I determine if it is actually playing? And what is player? Where's player even coming from? Oh. It's a store with player state. It has a status property? apparently it doesn't. I'll have to kind of dive into the code that's handling all of this. Where even was it? Go to definition. So it's this function. And then we can subscribe to the player state. On play, it's setting the status. Okay. And then we're updating state. So basically, I think I need to just expose the status, or it's possible that player window status is also just available. Hidden, active. Oh no, that has to do with, I think, the player that's visible on the page. Yeah, but where's the player state accessed? Like this? I think I want to expose the state. Let's see what happens if I do that. I'm working with Svelte stores here. This is kind of my first time working with them, so I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm going to expose the player state on the player object. So then I should be able to do player.player state. And then let's just see if this gives us the actual state. I mean, we could just do, so if it works, current state dot status, and if that is equal to playing, then we want to player dot pause. Else, if the current state status is initial, start it. See if this works.
Who I'm star.
First try. So, That gives us access to the state. It's playing, and then it's paused.
Then wash those hands. Pull
Now
up
if we're down like down here,
If
that pauses it. Okay. I think another issue though is right now the text is saying playing episode. It should actually say play episode. So that's not updating on the page accordingly.
anytime you add a dependency or
I think we should update it to say like resume episode.
update a dependency,
Like what does it say when the page initially loads? There is a pause function. It's just I need to determine if we should start the show, pause it, or play it. Those are already exposed. But based on the status, I need to I need to change what function I call. Okay, I want to update the text on the page because right now it says playing episode number. Oh. What if we go to a different episode? It says play episode. Okay. I think that's the other thing is I don't need to use get if I use $player. Right? Maybe not. Hey Andras, thank you for the Twitch follow. That I believe is the creator of Coolify himself. Welcome in, glad to see you. I have $player.status. Let's take a look. Oh, I do. Okay, I want to use that. Because then I can use that in the view as well. Good to see you, Andras. Thank you for being here. Okay, but if this works, then that means I already have access to the player status in the template, which means I can change the contents here.
see your updated dependency, you'll get feedback in the key.
Oh, that's an issue though. Okay, so if the show okay, so I'm on a separate page and I actually want to play episode 703 now. When I click this button, I need to start a different episode. So we need to keep track of that. Okay. So if the current show is the actual show number here, this is all the logic we need. Otherwise, we literally just start it. This needs to start a different one. So now I'm on episode 703. This should start episode 703. Yeah.
Monday.
I'll have to check it out. It's
Then that pauses it. And then if we go to a different episode, this should start this episode.
Monday.
on that so you can focus it. So like
And
seems
then if
crazy
I go here,
to have to
and
add
then
all
like
that
back
extra
to episode 701.
properties to a div and not just
Hey, that's great. That's great. Okay. But what I do want to do is I want to change the text to say resume if it's already playing. Do it the other way around. If it is not, just do the online and return. Yeah, no, it's not backseating. I think you have a good idea here. So, you do it like this. So if it does not equal that, then we return this. I guess I don't even need to wrap it. And I don't even need to return. I could just do this. That should handle it the same way. And then I can combine the two. Sweet. I should do it. Yeah, Andres says, I'm an amateur streamer for the past week. No, you're a pro, Andres. You have a lot of people tuning in, and yeah, you're making it happen. Yeah, much better. We simplified that logic for sure. Okay, let's make sure that it all still works. If I'm on a page
and not just
and
use
I
a
was
button.
playing
And
an
there's
episode, it resumes. I can pause it there, go to a different episode. This should start this episode.
I sure hope.
What versions?
This should pause it. I think we're in. Great. But the logic that I want now is to change the text here. So right now it says play episode or playing episode. We could say if give me some type completion. Maybe it's because I need to finish out this if. Paused. If we're paused and this is the page that we're on of the episode, we want to say resume. Else play. Else. I always forget the spelt syntax. Okay, so if the player is paused and we're on the same page as the player that's loaded, as the show that's loaded into the player, it should say resume. Otherwise, if it's not playing, then it should say, I don't know. Let's see what this gives us. Okay, so yeah, this says resume episode 705.
That, you were depending
Playing
on, but in
episode
practice,
705.
most people will
Resume. Great.
install stuff and then
Now we
change
go to
the
a
log
different
file, and they
episode.
never look at it, and they're never really
or those
using it
say
to
play
merge.
episode
merge
701.
conflict.
It restarts.
Monday,
It's
Monday,
playing.
Monday.
Now it says resume.
That's kind of nice.
Beautiful. Yeah. Yeah, if I work with SvelteKit long enough, the syntax will stick. But I guess I don't work with it often enough. I've been in React land, so I always have to remember #/. This is great. I think one of the main reasons we started working on this is if someone is using a screen reader and then tabs to play the episode,
Nice.
they should be able to pause the episode without having to tab all the way to the player at the bottom.
A lot. Because that's like the first part.
The other thing is if we refresh, when the page loads, it should say resume. The thing is, right now, let's look at what the status is, because when the page loads, basically it's loading the previous state of like what the user was listening to before. So it goes initial.
The first part of accessibility is just you.
And then I want to log this every time it changes. Yeah, so that's what Paolo was saying. Put a $sign there, and that'll log it every time it changes. Okay. Initial, and then loaded.
Use the built-in HTML element.
Playing. Okay, but what if go to a different episode?
Monday.
Paused. Loaded. I think we should change the status. So like if the user is resuming this episode, the current status instead of loaded should be paused, I believe. So let's fix that. First of all, we can get rid of earlier we added a return here, this player state. We don't need this anymore. If I go to a different page and refresh, it stays initial. I think so. Initial, loaded. And then an episode I haven't listened to. Initial and then loaded. It does say loaded. Let's see what load show does. Check if it's saved. And then resume time. If playback is coming from a timestamp, use timestamp, otherwise use last play position or 0. So this is what I think we should do. So if play from position is a thing, then it should start off as paused.
I sure hope you're hungry.
I think. So now we've got episode 700.
Cool, I'm starving.
Loaded up. It's now paused. When I refresh the page, I would want this to be in a state of paused, I think. Yeah. Yeah, Paolo's mentioning check if loaded is used somewhere. Oh. I think we're outside of here. Yeah, because then it's loaded.
That allows you to connect directly.
So when do the rest of these values get set? If resume time is greater than 0, that's probably it. But this code isn't running. So update the state for a new incoming show. I think this is what's happening as well. So, oh, did that work? Wait, what? It's setting it to oh, okay. I think that fixed it. What Paolo mentioned fixed it. If the resume time is greater than 0, we're setting it to paused. That's the way to go. Yeah. So you can say resume episode 700
to your database. So there's no middleman.
Cool. But if I go to an episode that isn't loaded into the player, like 699, and then I refresh, it should still say play episode 699. It's not going to say resume episode 699. And then if I press this, playing.
You're listening to Syntax.
I think we've done it. And if I refresh, it should say resume episode 699. Sweet. Sweet. And then we can go to different episode. If I play this, this is currently 699 is loaded
data
here.
colon SVG,
And
and you
this,
literally
I sure hope
it
you're
loads it.
hungry.
I think we've done it. Yeah, I think we've done it. Yeah, we don't need this anymore. I'll do that. Yeah, that's a good point, Paolo. So Paolo was mentioning confirm that status equals loaded isn't used anywhere, because it might be that it's expecting and waiting on status equals loaded. Don't need that. See everywhere this is used. Can we trust that it's single quotes? Okay. We have the status enum. This is literally the only spot that it's setting it. Right here. There we go. Welcome in. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Cool. I think that's it. Obviously, someone will review this before it gets merged in, but I think we're good. Yeah, I think before I do anything else, I'll have to pull from main. Cool. And we change just a couple of things. So, if they're reloading the page to the same episode that has already been, that they were listening to the last time they were on the site, it should start as paused. And then over here, we resume the episode if the button is pressed and they've already been listening to it. Cool. We're going to get rid of that, though. The other thing is we update the text. So if it's paused and we're on the same page as the one loaded into the player, it'll say resume. Otherwise, it'll say play or playing. think we're good. I'm going to check out a new branch. Player state updates. Are they state updates? Sure. So we'll call this a bug. Fix player button press when playing. All right, I'm going to open up a PR. I guess I should look at the existing PRs. Yeah, this is all not related stuff. And this is related to number 1384. Thank you, Paolo. I'm going to toggle that a couple hundred times the next few days, so your PM will see that and know that the change was impactful. Appreciate it. What's up, Miguel? I practice my English by listening to your videos. Thanks for sharing your content. Very quality. Thank you, Miguel. Yeah, and that's awesome that you're practicing. Glad to hear it. Okay. This fixes the player button on the show page. We'll say, if an episode is already playing, pressing the play button will pause the episode. If the episode is paused, the button will say resume. If the site is loaded from scratch, or like is freshly loaded to a show page that the user was last listening to, the button will say resume. That's it, right?
People
Pressing the button will pause the episode.
people were
This is a partial fix for number 1384. I did not add anything to jump to the player, just improved the button functionality. Cool. Great. I'll create the pull request and then add Scott as a reviewer because he mainly worked on the player. So he'll know if I did something completely wrong. All right, let me pick one more issue to work on and then I'm going to get out of here. So before we pick an issue, I'm going to check out the main branch just so I'm in a fresh state. And let's pick another issue. So this one, done. Episode duration would be quite involved because we'd have to like download a bunch of MP3s and then process them. We have integration tests, but some of them are broken, so I haven't really touched them. But the stack here is SvelteKit with a MySQL database and Prisma for talking to the database. allowing edit of AI generated content would be really nice to have because this is something we deal with a lot. Let me research this one. Let's actually look in the code base in the admin dashboard. First of all, let me see if I can log in as admin locally, because I know that I've actually had some issues with that if I don't have my stuff set up right. So if I go to admin, now if I go to admin, okay, I can access the admin stuff. What we want is if we go in here, I want to be able to edit the AI show notes. This should be easy enough. I could literally just add a form with the title and the description, and then we update it in the DB. Let's do it. That's what we're going to do. Okay. So first of all, I need to find this page in the code base. It's under admin, shows, and then show number. So go admin, shows, show number, and then let's take a look at the page, and then we have a data dump component. So it just shows everything from the database. Yeah, so simple. I think all I want is to insert into the page. Right here, there should be a little form for editing. So if we look, AI show notes. Yeah, so right below the header, I want a form. And let me copy a form from another place on the site. I feel like we had one. I'm also going to do this so that way it imports all the latest shows. I'll just add a form and see what it looks like. So we have a form, got a label that says title, and then we've got an input with the name of title. What does that look like? I mean, that's not horrible. That's literally all we need. It's going to be totally fine. So I'll do the same thing, but with like a text area. For description. Easy. Let me just turn this into a flexbox. Are we using Tailwind? We're not using Tailwind, but we do have just styles in this component here. So I'm gonna add a style tag. We're gonna call this just the form. I guess I can target it directly because these are scoped. And we will say that it is a flexbox. Flex it via column. And also add a gap of 2 rem. Not bad. I kind of want to put the labels on top of the inputs. And so let's link them up. Hey, that's not horrible. Yeah, it's not bad. This is literally for admins only, so it doesn't have to look amazing. Let's give this 3 rows. Four rows. Cool. And let's increase the font size because this looks really tiny for whatever reason. That's not horrible. No, this is fine. I'm gonna reduce the gap. Have no gap at all. Have a gap of 0.25. Cool. Now, if there are show notes, I will show this form. And then we're going to pre-populate the input with the title. Title? Description. Cool. So by default, it doesn't show up there, but if we go to an episode that has AI show notes, we should see a little form like this. Great. Let's add a button. It says update. Let's add some margin around the form. 1 rem on top and bottom, like that. Yeah. So now I should be able to go in and just change some stuff. And then when I click update, it's going to submit a form post request. We'll update it in the DB. So at this point, I need some actions for this specific route. And I forget how all that works. So let's go look up SvelteKit. And we're going to look up form actions. So we are going to have we have a page.server already. It has a load function. So this is what gets called when the page loads. But we want to export actions. And this is specifically going to get called with the data from the form. So it'll be the default action. And so we can literally just set method to post on our form. That will submit to that action, and we should have all the data. We can put it updated in the database. Here I'm just going to log the event dot form data. I know that we have a middleware for processing form data. We look over here. It's this. What does this add to locals? This is how we do it. Request.form data. We can grab the request from here. Okay. Zip. Now, it's going to log on the server side. So when I click update, it posts against itself. And then on the server side, there's the data. Now we just got to put it in the database. So we can do this. We grab the locals from here. And then we will grab the AI show note. And we will update where show ID? Show number is, let's grab the params like this. I forget about, Prisma has a data property. And we're going to say title is data.title. And description is data.description. Okay. Oh, is it just form data? Do I have to use get? Oh no, that's not fun. I thought Scott's middleware did something. Yeah. Oh yeah, and I missed your chats earlier, but see you later, Andras. Just want to say hi. Yeah, thanks for being here. And thank you, Wesley Coder. Thank you for that follow. Yeah, this SK form data. How is this supposed to work? Locals.form data. That's what I want. And then I want a partial of AI show note. I don't really want a partial. I can do a pick. And we want title and description. Can I not pick multiple? Any TypeScript experts in the chat? What's the best way to do this? I could have a type that's AI show note update. And right now what I'm thinking is I do pick the title and then combine that with pick the description. And then that gives me a type that has a title and a description. So data dot title and description. I specifically want the type from here. I mean, they are literally just strings. I mean, the way to do this actually could just be define my own type. So title is a string and description is a string. But this is basically using the type from the database. Pick can accept a union. Ah, good call. Okay, let's do that. Thank you, WebDev Journey and Wesley. That's the way to go. Nice. Cool. Is this all we need? I think this is literally all we need. I think we probably want to validate that title and description aren't empty. The thing is, this is an admin endpoint. So only admin. You can't even get to this endpoint unless you're already logged in. We might as well validate it though. Do we have Zod in this code base? Let's see if we have Zod. I don't think we do. Yeah, we don't have Zod. I'm just going to do a manual validation. So if there is no title, I need to see how we can return errors from forms. You just return an object. You can have a fail. Return fail. With whatever we want. So fail comes from SpellKit. And we'll just say message AI title cannot be empty. We'll do the same thing for description. Otherwise, we just return. Okay. Here we go. We've got this. We come down here and we say, this was updated. We update it. And now we come down here and it was updated. So SpellKit is so easy. I mean, it is literally just a form submission. Am I missing anything? I think like we should get a validation error. We're not really even using the form info on the front end. Because we should, I think we get access to data dot. Do we get access to form data? No. How do we get the form info in the page? Action data. And then I guess we can show an error message at the top here. So if form dot message, how do I access it? I thought I put it in a variable. Is it running? Form is possibly null. Makes sense. Okay. Now, if I try to do it with an empty description, it should say description cannot be empty. I guess one issue right now is it needs to scroll back down to this. I don't think I'm going to get too fancy with it like toasts or anything like that because, like I said, this is just for admins. But I kind of want to scroll back down to this area. Yeah, scroll to the element. So I think here's what we'll do. If the form exists, like if there was a form submission, we're going to scroll to the form. So I need a ref to the form, so then I can scroll it into view. How do we do element refs? I could guess. I think we could say something like find this equals form ref. And then we just define form ref. And this is an HTML form element or null. And then let's say if form, we'll wait for it. So if form is a thing, then we're going to scroll into view. Hey, that works. That's too easy. We can make it smooth though. Behavior, smooth. Nice. Okay, I guess the other thing is we can set the error message, just give it some style. I think we have some CSS variables. Import variables. We've got red. Let's just try red one. And then I will give this a class of errors. All right. Do I not have access to that variable? Shouldn't it already be loaded on the page? Or do I actually have to import the variables? Maybe because it's scoped? Is this used anywhere else on the site? No. I think maybe I have to import the variables. Can we do a base import? All right. How deep are we? We go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hmm. It is applying it, and it was able to look it up. Does it not have access to red hue? It does. It's slightly red. Oh, you know what? You're completely right. I guess we want like really red. I say this is the one issue with working with CSS variables is I actually don't know what variables are available to me. There might be like I don't even know if there is a VS Code plugin that can basically tell me like, hey, there's red 10. And then it's really dark. I don't know which one I want. Look, I guess Scott can yell at me. I'm just gonna use this. It is red like that. That's all I want. Cool. I think one thing is when you update the AI show notes, we need to clear the cache for this specific episode so that they get updated. So I'm gonna do that as well. Cache. There's some caching stuff that goes on. I just want to call that method. Drop show cache, I think is what I want. And then pass in the show number. Okay. And Beleknomac, thank you for that follow. He'll probably say that you should have used the color mix. That's good. At least I'll get some feedback on my PR then. Okay, so we remove it from the cache. The other thing is, though, we need to invalidate this path from Vercel. How do we do that? Cause those load functions to rerun. Because I think like one of the things that I have noticed, if I go into the database and update this directly and I remove the cache, the page itself doesn't update. I think it might have something to do with Vercel's like build cache. I don't know if there's a built-in way to clear that. I don't want load functions belonging to the currently active page. I don't want that. I kind of want to delete it in the Vercel cache if I can. Maybe I won't be able to. Oh, what's up? What's up, Pranjal? Welcome in. Good to see you. Okay. I think this should do it. This is probably enough. Let's make sure that this works. So, for instance, if we go to episode 650, we can see that the AI show note is discussion on why Facebook and Instagram is messy. Okay. But if we go to the admin page, for episode 650, go here. We can say this was updated. We update it. Great. And now if I refresh this, hey, it works. Cool. That's it. That's all. That's all I'm going to do for this one. Like I said, it's an admin page. It doesn't have to be too crazy. Yeah. Cool. So check out a branch, add everything. Push it up. Open a PR. Cool. This adds page to the admin. This adds a form. The admin show page that allows updating of AI generated title and description. Great. We'll request a review from Wes and Scott. Fixes that one. Should auto link to it. Yeah. Cool. All right. I guess we can see, did I get any responses on my pull requests? No, not yet. Cool. That's all I'm going to work on for today. Next time we can work on other things too. So I'll keep this list here, and I guess as more issues get added to the syntax repo as well, I can pick those to work on. But thanks everyone for hanging out. This was pretty fun. We got to do some Code Wars code katas. We answered some questions. We got some work done on the actual syntax website, which was fun. And I think this was from earlier's. Oh no. So what Stony is mentioning is if you have ffprobe, which I think comes with ffmpeg, you can use it to grab the duration. Yeah, I think the main issue is like if this is running as a cron job that's a serverless function, I don't know if it has access to ffmpeg or ffprobe. But yeah. And thank you, WebDevJourney, who says you're a legend. I appreciate that. But yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. If you are not following over on Twitch, be sure to, because we stream in both spots and all the follows helps. And if you're not following on YouTube, we'd appreciate that as well. So check us out over there. I'm going to head out. Like I said, this is a bi-monthly thing. So not next Thursday, but the following Thursday. There may not be a live stream because it's Hack Week. So maybe you might not see me for another month, but hopefully we can do another one of these soon. I do appreciate everybody for hanging out. It was a good time. Yeah, see you later, Stoney, who says, catch you soon. All right, thanks everyone for tuning in. Yeah, we'll see you next time.